Hello there. Welcome to Pirates Online. Let me turn down the music because I always forget to do that. So better to do it now while I remember. Welcome back to TLOPO, the Legend of Pirates Online. Hello. So, what we're gonna be doing is what we've always been doing, just general piracy and stuff. You know what, I just realized something. Isn't it like always sunset every time I start the stream? Sunsets... This game has an in-game clock, doesn't it? It, like, has this day-night cycle. And Just real quick, I'm just gonna be chill here tonight, so I've got Discord open, talking to people. Got the same playlist going on as usual. Yeah, so Pirates Online. We have... Wait a second. Okay, so there's this bad ink quest that we were doing right. I forgot about that. This is the one that we want to try. Patricio Luckless. We've got some others. We're gonna set this as active just for now, just to see what we can do. I'm gonna hope maybe there will be someone over here near Patricio that is trying to also take on Patricio and is probably at least level 30. If the other person is level 30 or higher, we should be able to hop in and successfully defeat Patricio. If not, we're just gonna lose and die and suffer. We'll not be able to defeat Patricio at level 13. No way in hell. By the way, if I sound a little hoarse or if you hear me coughing a little bit every now and then, it's because I'm not sick. It's because I got my COVID booster shot on Sunday. Today's Wednesday. Monday I was completely knocked out. There's no way I was going into work that day, so good thing I preemptively took the day off. Like, moving was a struggle. So much as me rolling over while I'm resting what, like, took the breath out of me. So, I was basically dead that day. Now, most of the soreness is even, like, completely gone. Oh yeah, Patricio's level 24, like, almost double our level. We're not taking him on. Let's try to move to a more active server, because as a reminder, this character, I guess, defaults on Juntos Ocean, but if anyone ever wants to, feel free to hop on and play with me on Juntos Ocean. Like right now, this is a free game. It's a free game. You can't get better than free. And it's not even like free to play nonsense. It's just like free because they can't charge for it because it's not their game. It's a fan-made remake, so they can't charge money for it. Okay, let's go to Andaba. Andaba's the most populous server. Maybe someone will be taking on Patricio and we'll be lucky. Oh yeah, but as I was saying, yeah, my voice is maybe... Basically, the main symptom right now remaining after my vaccine is my voice might be a little bit hoarse. I might cough every once in a while. I do have like a very light cough. Very light. You see? We've got player. Okay, they're AFK. But whatever. They're here. But yeah, you know. Oh, is someone attacking me? Hang on. No, they're just being weird. King Jumper. Okay, yeah, sorry, I was answering Discord. Okay, now let's hope someone's taking on Patricio this time on this server. Yeah, but by all means, everyone, I'm begging you to play with me. I have a guild. I have everything. Seriously, just... Well, I accidentally turned off the compass. Hang on. Compass. Why did I even do that? I just need to press C. But yeah, see, we've got a guild. And we've got... You can join with unlimited use. Right here, just type in that code right there. You can join the guild. It's free, and you get to hang out with me, and we get to play stuff together. It'll be fun. So, yeah, let's hope that someone on Andaba is trying to take on Patricio right now. Because if they're not, we'll probably just vibe on Andaba for now. Cause... Yep, okay, and Patricio here is level 30, Jesus. That is one thing, if you switch servers, enemies are different, like... It's different instances of all the enemies, so like... A boss, like... Patricio Luckless would have his... like... He's got a range, right, of levels he can spawn at, so he'll be anywhere between, like, level... I don't know the minimum, and I don't know the maximum, but we do have, for example, between level 24 and level 30. So he'll spawn anywhere in that range, and if he's too high a level, we could swap over to another server, but I am fairly certain, no matter what level I play at, I won't be able to beat him. Unless... Now we do have a voodoo doll. Because here's the thing, the AI in this game is not great. It's far, like, I don't know what it is with the remake, but the AI is even worse than it ever was. Which is not a bad thing, it's just a bad thing if you're looking for a challenge. But I've noticed you can basically use the voodoo dolls to, like, run around and stuff, you know? The question is, what kind of weapon does Patricio use? Because if he's also using a voodoo doll, we're dead. We cannot defeat Patricio, and also, I don't even know how much damage he deals. He's a level 30, he's more than double our level. It's likely he could one-shot us here. Not impossible. Yeah, he's got... That sounds like voodoo to me. God damn it, Patricio. This was my one plan for defeating you, was using voodoo, but... I'm fairly certain he's a voodoo user, because you don't usually see his voodoo, like, bar there at all. Like, here, let me show you an example, right? Undead Witch Doctors, see that blue bar? That's because they use voodoo magic. Dire Wasps do not, because Dire Wasps don't use voodoo magic, therefore they do not have a voodoo bar. Let's also look at the Mutineer, because like, yeah, mute mirrors, no voodoo bar. So if you see a voodoo bar, chances are that they use voodoo. So, yeah. Anyway. Anyway, so yeah, looks like no one's taking on Patricio. So here's something that we could do if we really wanted to, is we could advertise. So advertising would be, here, let me show you what I mean by advertising. We got this chat box right here, this lovely little chat box. Let's just type in hello. And then we get an exclamation mark above our heads, and not speech bubble above our heads, and it says hello. And then it goes away. Sure, our dialogue is still there in the bottom corner, but anyone that missed it isn't going to see it. But if I type dot, like period, hello, it becomes a thought bubble. And now it says you think hello. Now the function of the thought bubble is it stays for a while. I don't know exactly how long the duration is, but it stays for a very long while. So I could just run around, and now anyone who runs into me will see my thought bubble hello. Now granted, I don't think they'll see in the text box down here that I was thinking hello. But yeah. Oh. Okay, we've got a level 11 here. Good luck, Archive. I don't know what you're doing. But anyway, let's clear this text box with just a simple hola. There you go, cleared the text box. Archive says hiya. Okay, so yeah, that's how you clear the text box. I'm just gonna walk with this guy. I don't know what his plan is, but whatever. He's more people in this area than I've seen before. Uh-oh, he's in trouble. Hang on, Archive. Let me help you. Let me help you, buddy. Gonna heal you up, keep you alive. Because why not? Hope he doesn't get mad at me for that. Do not want you. Yeah, I hope he doesn't mind. But whatever. Oh, he's doing good stuff. So what are we gonna do? Since we can't take on the boss that we were hoping to. Here, I'll just leave him a heal and then leave. We can't take on the boss we were hoping to. We could advertise that we're trying to take on the boss, like I demonstrated before with like the thinking. I could say, hey, I'm looking to take on Patricio Luckless, would anyone like to help me please? Something like that. That's an option. But I don't really like resorting to that. I don't do that very often. So, what's our plan B? I'll probably check in here like every 30 minutes to an hour or so, see if someone's taking on Patricio, but for now, let's do this. So we got a bunch of VITC ships to take down. Awesome. By the way, on my main character for this game, I successfully have acquired a war galleon, which is mwah, chef's kiss. War galleons are so good. I'm still not entirely positive, like, this might have been a placebo, but I could have sworn the war frigate was a better ship than the war galleon. But the fact that I don't know, there's just it didn't quite feel like it. Well, like, numbers wise, it's not, is the thing. Numbers wise, the frigate is worse than the galleon at a lot of things. Okay, this is pointing me towards the ship that's in here. I'm gonna put my money on that being like something kind of insignificant, like what do you call Sea Viper or something. It's probably a Sea Viper. So we're gonna go for some bigger fish. We're gonna go for an ogre. But first, hang on, let me put away the sails. Alright. Yeah, we're gonna take on these ogres. That's the plan. The ogres are the big fry. They're gonna have all the stuff that we could ever want. And by that, I don't know what I mean. They're gonna have a lot more loot, is what I mean. Also, allow public. So if you are on Andava Ocean right now, and you hop over to a dinghy, you can look for the Cuddly Legend, and that'll be my ship, and you can fire the cannons for me. And it'll be fun. We'll do some piratey adventure together. But yeah, no, let's take on these ogres now. Am I gonna struggle? It's not impossible. It's not impossible that I'll struggle. However, the ship AI in this game is as bad as the rest of the AI in this game, so I have a feeling that it's gonna struggle if I just sail around in a circle like this. So yeah, and while we're taking on these ogres, I can talk a little bit more about catching you all up. So basically, I mentioned, ooh, that's gonna hit. Yeah, knew one of those was gonna hit. So, I mentioned how on Sunday I got my vaccine. Oh, Jesus, that was the full brunt of that attack. Pain, shit. Okay, we're actually taking damage. So quickly don't take this much against ogres. Ogres are usually pretty much just pushovers, but ooh. My other character was able to take on ogres just fine with a regular galleon. Why am I struggling? But anyway, yeah, I mentioned Sunday I got my booster shot. That's not all. I had like a full 4-day weekend, but it was kind of busy. You know, working backwards. Monday, I was suffering from the booster, and so couldn't do anything. On Sunday, I got the booster. Also, for those of you that watched, I participated in Sune's debut stream, or debut weekend marathon stream. It was like a subathon, I think. But yeah, I participated in that by playing Uno. Absolutely dominated. By the way, if you don't know the significance of me playing Uno with all those people on that stream, it was actually me playing, like us all playing together with those people all playing Uno together was I believe it was Jasper's first collab, and I believe it was also Sune's first collab. Was like the four of us playing Uno together. And so it was kind of a little bit of a reunion. And yeah, if any of you were there, you know that I completely dominated in Uno. They did not stand a chance. Oh, holy fuck, stop hitting me with all those. You're not supposed to hit me with those. Look at this. Look at this. We're not supposed to. Ugh. After we take down this ogre, we're gonna have to dock and then relaunch and fix up our goddamn ship. But yeah, so that was fun. I had a good time. God damn it, stop it, stop it, stop it. This ship is not cheap. Yeah, so what else? Then on Saturday, before Sunday. Alright, cool. Let's bounce. Let's dock at Isla Cangrejos. I see it in my head as Canegros. Is that like a dyslexia thing? I don't think I have dyslexia, but like I see words and my brain's like, it's pronounced this way. And then you pronounce it, break it down bit by bit, and there's no it was ever pronounced that way. But whatever, it's not Canegros, it's Cangrejos. Isla Cangrejos. So yeah, let's dock, claim our loot, and then fix up our ship. Let's see, so as far as this goes, we got buckle boots and rampart boots. Let's put some buckle boots on. Also, this hat can sit here. Alright, let's launch. First, let's check Discord. So yeah, you know, we're now gonna fix up our goddamn ship because those ogres dealt so much damage to us. Oh, by the way, I'm not drinking water, because fuck water. Water's fine, there's nothing wrong with water, it's just not interesting. So what I'm drinking, it's a liquid that was... It's being advertised as spicy. What it basically is sparkling water that's like lemon and ginger. You know, with the intent of it being good for my throat and my voice and trying to relieve me of the scratchiness of the symptom of the vaccine that makes it feel like I have COVID, even though I don't. So, yeah, back to what I was saying. On Saturday, I went to this whole social event type deal thing. It was like... So what it was, is that it was for a mix of people like me, that is, foreigners on this one jet program to teach in Japan, and locals, kind of as a mixer event. And, you know, we had an icebreaker, and then, what did we do after the icebreaker? I think after the icebreaker was the picture? No. Well, the icebreaker, yeah. The icebreaker was 2 truths and a lie. Then after the two truths and a lie, we made a picture. And it was like a team building exercise type of picture where it was like, we had to, you know, make a spring picture off of the base. And we had various pastels, like, or oil. Yeah, pastels isn't the right word, is it? But they're like oil they're basically crayons, but not crayons. So it was like oil on canvas type deal. And, you know, we had to work together to make a picture, and the picture, like, it had to be, we were all limited to only one color. And we each had 2 collective minutes, 1 minute twice, of like each of us going twice, to make a picture. Oh, that's a juggernaut. We're not taking that one. No, but we can take on this ogre. Ogres are about our speed. So yeah, the mixer, after we did that, the picture, then we moved on to, what was after that? There's like, Uno? No, not Uno. Bingo. And then, yeah, there was bingo. And then after bingo was charades. So all in all, it was pretty decent. It was a beautiful day. The weather's been gorgeous here lately. And a few more shots because the ogres have figured out my technique of just spinning around in a circle. Did you see that? That French Cerberus was just like going across the ocean. I don't know what was going on there. It was like it wasn't where it was supposed to be. It was like, oh shit, I need to be in this other spot instead, and then it's like moving really fast to try and get there. But anyway, you know, it was a beautiful weekend. It's still beautiful weather, like absolutely gorgeous. We're in like the 50s and 60s here. Oh, I love it. It feels like spring. That's what I want. I love it feeling like spring. It's amazing. And so, but yeah, basically the day before all that was Friday. Friday, I mentioned on my last actual stream on this channel, the last week's TLOPO stream, I mentioned that I was like gonna drop off and just like take a spontaneous day off, right? So I did. I did exactly what I said I would. I took the day off. And what I ended up doing on that day was I got myself a haircut because my hair... Hey, we gotta level up. Nice. Alright, let's dock again at Usakan and Greyhost because we're not good at keeping our ship alive. Yeah, so for basically, oh boy. So basically, yeah. It's been, so as of like this week-ish, it's been about, I want to say like 5.5 months of me being in Japan. I got my last haircut literally like the day before my flight or something. I don't know, it was like very close to my flight. So, I had like, that was my last haircut. And so, you know, even if you have the intent of growing your hair out, you do still need to go to get haircuts to like take care of your split ends and stuff and keep your hair healthy. I've not been going to the barber at all because number one, like, even in the US, I have, like, general anxiety going to a place to get a haircut. Multiply that onto the fact that number one, COVID, and number two, the fact that I don't speak significant Japanese. Like, it's mostly a confidence issue. I don't think I need to have, like, top tier vocabulary or grammar or all that to, like, communicate what I want. Alright, someone's on board my ship. If they start sailing, I swear to fucking God. Awesome. Sweet. Alright, we're gonna take on some ogres, my dude, whoever you are. But yeah, oh, sweet. You know what? Does he want to crew up? Can I click on you anywhere? There we go. Invite him to my crew. Nice. Awesome, we got a crew. Alright, we want... Fuck it, we're gonna take on this juggernaut. Let's go! I'm instantly more confident now that I have a crew member on board. What was I saying? I was saying something. Oh right, haircut. Yeah, the haircut. So I finally went somewhere to get a haircut. And it was awesome. It went really well. It was... So like, initially there was kind of a struggle. It wasn't the best. You know what? I mean, okay. The quest is telling us to dock. However, I want to humor this guy. Let's build up. Okay, we're not going to take on that French Shadow Crow, but we are going to go for the Monarch. Yeah, let's build up our cargo. We're unstoppable now that we've got Tad Tipsy here with us. But yeah, oh, look at that. Got ourselves a loot chest. Okay, he really wants to take on the Shadow Crow. Okay, fine. We'll go back for it. Yeah, we'll just humor this guy for a while. It'll be a good way for us to get some good loot and so forth. Let's slow down so you can get good aim. There we go. Oh, we're so gonna die. I am so underleveled for this French Shadow Crow, but you know, maybe Tad Tipsy will be a good crew member and keep me alive or something. Hopefully that. But yeah, as far as the haircut, initially it was like kind of bleh, because, you know, social anxiety and anxiety of having to ask for something like that. Oh yeah, yep. Okay, cool. We're just gonna let you deal with this then, Tad Tipsy. Oh dear. Yeah, let's just run around in circles. Keep him healed up. That's our main goal here, is just keep our crewmate healed up. But, yeah, so basically, once it came to the actual haircut, though, here's the fun part. The actual haircut was pretty amazing. It was probably the best haircut experience I've ever had in my entire life. Because basically, are we taking on this Death Omen? I'm gonna go for the Death Omen. Hello, Pink Panic Uwu. And thank you for the follow. Yeah, this is like the best haircut I've had in my entire life. Because they did like everything. They trimmed my eyebrows. They gave me like, you know, a full facial. I'm doing pretty good. How's you? Yeah, it's like the hot towel massage. It was like, oh, it was amazing. And it was like probably I mean, on top of everything else, it was also like the first time I've had like physical human contact since like the last hug that I got before coming to Japan in like October. So it was good. Yeah. Yeah, sorry, I'm just kind of like talking about what this past weekend was like. So I got my first haircut, I went to like a whole social event, got my COVID vaccine. It was a busy ass weekend. And now we're playing TLOPO. And as far Alright, the game just kind of did its thing there for a moment. Here, let me tag you. So basically, after that, aw, nice. Yeah, lovely to have you here, and if you're ever interested, do feel free to play this game with me. You're 100% encouraged to do so. But, you know, if you just want to vibe and chat while I play, that's cool too. But yeah, so after all, right, yes. So that was all last weekend. What's coming up though is some other cool stuff too, because here's the other cool stuff. I get a spring break. I didn't think I would get a spring break. I thought that basically my whole, like... Wow, he really wants to take on these French Shadow Crows. Fine, we can do that. I'm cool with it. It's just means better loot. But yeah, so I get a spring break. That's the cool bit, is that I get a spring break. Oh, come on. Yes, keep playing. And it's not just like a US spring break. It's not like a Western spring break. This is a full-on, like... So, for those who don't know, in Japan, our spring breaks are like... Well, basically, the semester goes... It ends on It ends in March. March 1st is when graduation happens. And then Yeah, I'm living in Japan. I'm working as a high school teacher, English high school teacher. So basically, like, yeah, we start with. So the end of the entire school year is March 1st, and then the school year starts up again in April. And so that period in between it's spring break because it's spring, but it's like the major break because it's like between the school year. So like all my first years are now gonna be second years by the time I go back. But I was still like, I'm not gonna get a proper spring break because, as I've noticed during other breaks, like winter break, I didn't get any time, like any proper time off. I had like a week off for winter break, but that was basically it. But this time around, it's like it's 20 days. 20 days of just no work, nothing to worry about. I can just chill and vibe and just do whatever. So, alright. We're gonna be... Oh, come on. Get on board. Also, fuck it, let's sink you. So what I'm probably gonna be doing is, for those like 20-something days, so I want to have like, some time to myself, obviously, but also more streaming. Because right now what I've been doing is just like, I've been kind of stuck with streaming on, pretty much exclusively weekends, plus my Wednesday streams. The reason I do Wednesdays, by the way, is because Monday is a day that's a little bit like, it's coming right off the weekend. Also, that's usually when I tend to default to making my schedule, so on and so forth. So, like, I don't really want to stream on Mondays. Tuesdays are like my crunchiest day of the week, as in like I had the least amount of time on Tuesdays, at least during when school's in session, because I have to go to a different school on Tuesdays, which means I'm like won't be home until later than I usually would be. So I put off Tuesdays, and then Thursdays I have just a weekly hangout in voice call with a couple of my partners, which is always fun. And I always look forward to doing that. And then Friday's kind of me day. Friday's a day I take for myself to just enjoy the fact that the weekend is finally here and I don't have to do anything. So yeah, that's just kind of how I go about those. Hello, Blue Arctos. Yeah, that's just kind of my overall approach to the week. So Wednesdays are like Wednesdays are the easiest weekday for me to squeeze in a stream like this. And then yeah, it's good to meet you too. So basically, you know what? Oh, thank you for the follow. We'll leave Tad Tipsy in our crew. Why not? So pretty much, like, yeah, Wednesdays are the easiest day to squeeze in streams like this. so let's do some selling of our clothes. That's what we want to sell. Also, is this really our first blunderbuss? I think it is. Yeah, I got distracted, but hang on. We've got a blunderbuss. Oh no, we have this blunderbuss. Oh, this one's actually worse. Okay, I'll sell that to you as well. No, shit, I didn't want to voodoo. I didn't want to potions. I didn't want to do that. Damn it. Ugh. But anyway, yeah, that's kind of how I have to be. Yeah, go away. I don't want to do potion brewing right now. That's kind of how I have to be for, like, my typical stream schedule. However, during spring break, I'll have all the time in the world to stream however much I want. I don't think I'll be up to what I was pre-Japan. I don't think I'll be, like, at 5 to 6 days a week I'll do a stream. But I'll probably bump it up to 4. Maybe, like, 1 week I'll do 5, who knows. But here's the thing, and this is the first time this is ever being mentioned on stream. I've mentioned this a few times in, like, a Discord server that I'm friends with, but I think this is the first time me mentioning this publicly. Hang on. Yeah, just more people to talk to. This is, I think, my first time mentioning this publicly. We're coming up on 1 year of everything for me. I made my official debut as Haru Hayes on Twitter on March 30th, 2021, the first day of spring. It's right now March 16th of 2022, so like on the 20th. Did I say 30th? I meant 20th. So yeah, that's gonna be like a full year of me having existed as a VTuber. So I'm probably gonna do something special for that. I don't know what yet exactly is the thing, like, I want to stream on that day is the thing. I'm probably mostly gonna make it like a Twitter celebration. Maybe I'll do like a twit longer of like, hey, looking back on this year of me being a VTuber, it was great and met lots of great people and stuff. But I'll probably also stream that day. Maybe it won't be too special though. It's mostly just gonna focus on like, yay, I've been doing this for a long time. Alright, let's go back and do this. But no, the main anniversary stream. Alright, so I've got like 2 special days coming up. In terms of like streaming anniversaries. April 1st is the day when I began streaming. Like the first day I ever streamed in my entire life was April 1st, 2021. So that's like my streaming anniversary. I officially did my like proper VTuber debut stream on the 15th of April. So those are like kind of both my debut dates in a way. I've got like my one debut date and then another debut date. Doing something super special on the 15th would be a little bit more difficult for the simple reason of, like, you know, here's the thing, we could try to ask Tad Tipsy to help us. Hello, Alpha! But I'm shy, I don't want to ask him, I'm too shy. What's my current quest here? Oh yeah, sure. I don't mind doing collabs. Yeah, just reach out to me if you want to plan something. Two best places to reach me are Twitter and Discord. If I'm not already following you, then you won't be able to DM me. But as far as Discord goes, yeah, there you go. There's the Discord server. You can hop right in there and find me there. Yeah, let's do the chest digging. Well, basically, yes. So the 15th is gonna be the harder day to, like... The 15th would be the ideal day to do, like, a whole big celebration stream. But I'm probably not going to... I don't know. Because the thing is, that'll be after spring break. Spring break will have ended by the 15th. But at least as far as, like, the first goes, I could easily do, like, a long kind of celebration stream on the first. That's something I could do. And then another thing that's coming up, after, you know, my Twitter anniversary date, my streaming anniversary date, and my debut anniversary date, another big upcoming date of note is my birthday. My birthday stream. Which would be... probably the 4th. So, like, May 4th. So, here, fun little fact. May 4th is not actually my birthday. My actual birthday is May 3rd, but as far as VTubing goes, I want to focus celebrations around the 4th, mostly to take weight off of me having to do stuff on my actual birthday. Yeah, my actual birthday is May 3rd. I'll probably do celebration stuff on the 4th then. It's just a question of, like, yeah. I want to do a subathon on one of these dates too. I still haven't decided. I kind of want the subathon to be the longer stream, because one of those streams is going to be a 24-hour stream. This is kind of what I'm picturing in my head. I'm picturing the birthday stream to be the 24-hour stream, and I'm picturing the regular, like, the debut anniversary stream to be just a longer than average celebration stream. That's just what I'm kind of picturing. as far as the celebration stream goes, like the debut anniversary, I'll call it the debut anniversary stream goes, that one I'll probably do like probably like aim for 6 to 8 hours long, you know, longer than my usual 3-hour streams, but not pushing it too much. Yeah, 6 to 8 hours. And I'm probably only gonna spoil it for all you here. I may not mention this on future streams unless I decide to. I don't fucking know. I'll do what I want. It's my channel. But for now, we'll keep this a secret between all of us. What I'm planning for the debut anniversary stream is I will visit games that have significance to this channel. So like games like Skyrim, for obvious reasons. Skyrim's like the meme. It's me. Like Skyrim is just me. And you know, you can't separate Haru and Skyrim. Slay the Spire, because Slay the Spire is like my... Here's a fun Haru trivia fact for all of you. Slay the Spire, oh, as far as pronouns go, I use she, her, or they, them. Both are fine. Yeah, so like... Slay the Spire, fun fact, was the first game I ever streamed. It was what I streamed on April 1st. Also, fun fact, you will not find that VOD on YouTube because I privated it, because I didn't realize that my dead name was just like up there on screen. The entire thing. I need to get around to like finding a way if I can like maybe edit that out. But yeah. So you won't be able to see that. That's privated, but it's still, you know, my first ever stream was Slay the Spire. So that'll probably be what I stream then. Oh, are we done? Is that the entire questline finished? Did we get our tattoos? Yeah, seriously! That's exactly what it is. Maybe one of my partners could help with that. She's good at video editing. Maybe she could do something about that. Question is, would it have to be a fresh upload, or would it have to be like... Yeah, what would probably have to happen is I'd have to re-upload it if I did that. Also, we've got now the secret of teleporting to Cuba, or like the questline for it, so we're gonna do that. Yeah, it's most likely gonna have to be a fresh upload. That'd be a shame, but whatever. Oh, war frigate, buddy, you've got a war frigate. Ooh, mama, look at that baby go. One of you, one day, we'll get a war frigate. But for now, we're just gonna enjoy sailing. Anyway, yeah, back to the other games. Right, Skyrim, Slay the Spire, Crusader Kings 3. Because Crusader Kings 3, believe it or not, was... Okay, I don't know if it was... I think Crusader Kings 3 is technically the first solo series that I ever finished on stream. Like, I ever did a full completion of. Granted, like, you can't really end a Crusader Kings 3 run. Like, there's no ending a run besides just reaching a certain date. But I had a goal in mind, and I reached that goal, and decided the streams are now over for that game. So, like, that game has a special place in my heart as far as streaming goes. I'll call it the first game I ever completed a playthrough of on stream. Why did I just gain... What? What the hell just happened? Why did I gain XP? I'll take it. But why? Why did I gain XP just from sailing? But yeah, so CK3, also significant to this channel. TLOPO, this game right here that I'm playing right now, is also a game of significance to this channel, so I will possibly play that too. And then on top of that, there's like I may or may not also stream MTG, just because, like, it's something that I go back and forth to revisiting. Oh yeah, no. Here's the thing. TLOPO is, like, pretty easy to get into. Like, this was my intro MMO. It was what I got into when I was like 13. If you have something against like MMOs in general, fine. I'm not gonna like try to pressure you into play something that you just don't enjoy, but yeah, TLOPO, as far as comparing it to other MMOs go, I think this one's on the easier side. Basically, you just have to only fight enemies that are the same level as you, or like maybe slightly higher. Like, don't try too much to challenge yourself. Just kind of stick with what the game kind of nudges you into. That kind of sweet spot of you're not going to struggle too much against the enemies. And of course it's better to play with more other people, like, instead of playing it by yourself. Which is why I have a guild. I have my Haru's Huggers guild that you can join. Oh, Maple Store. Ooh, it shut down 2 years ago. Yeah, the thing is with TLOPO, this was also a game that got shut down several years ago. But the reason I'm playing it right now is because it got revived by fans. Fans that just loved the game, knew enough about computers and like servers and software and stuff to revive the game. Yeah, like, the servers were completely dead, like, shut down. Like, not just dead, they were shut down forcefully. Disney was like, no more, we're done with this game. Then fans were like, but why? And then they worked and brought the game back, and now it's playable again. And not only is it playable, it's free, it also has bonus content. Oh, thank you for the follow, Grim Death Reaper. So, like, yeah, let's hope. Like, it's entirely possible that MapleStory 2 would also be in that same same group of, like, people that are fans of the game are going to try to revive it. We can hope. We can hang on to hope. But yes, this was mine. This was my MMO that, like, got me into MMOs. Well, not into MMOs, but, like, PC gaming, I think. I would say this game was probably my PC gaming debut. Like, I didn't do any PC gaming until now. Until this game. Back in junior high. I wasn't even in high school yet. This was junior high. God, I'm old. Yeah. But it is so good. It's such a good game, and I'm glad to have it back. By the way, the music that you're listening to right now is not the in-game music. The in-game music is... So, like, I didn't look too extensively into this as to whether or not it would be okay, but I'm always a lot more wary about playing in-game music of, like, Disney-related games. Games that are from IPs owned by Disney. So, like, Star Wars games, I'm always wary about the music of those. And same with Pirates of the Caribbean games, because both those are Disney stuff, and so I'm like, I don't want to get a DMCA strike by Disney. I'd probably feel a little bit more comfortable streaming with, like, the actual music if this game was still run by Disney, but considering it's a fan remake, or reboot, I guess? Revival. A fan revival. Because of that, I'd be all the more likely to get hit. Ugh, excuse me. I'd be all the more likely to get hit. So, yeah, I'm not risking it. I've just turned it. Oh, sorry. There we go. I'll just turn it down on YouTube. I don't know what's going on with my nose. And my sneeziness. But, yeah, I don't have, like, a mixer that I use. I know one of my partners is, like, would really love me to use the mixer. I don't know how to use them. It's just not natural for me to use a mixer. Yeah, it's probably not a cold. It's honestly possibly just, like, might be even allergies. I don't know. That could be it. But, yeah, no, I'm not all that tech savvy. I just literally have just, like, a YouTube playlist in the background, and I just use the volume control on YouTube to lower that. Okay, now. I'm gonna use sword, I think, right? Yeah, let's use sword. We gotta take on these big alligators. But yeah, basically this is just a free, royalty-free pirate music playlist that I found online, and I was just like, yeah, I'll just listen to that. And I'm happy with it. But if you ever end up playing this game by yourself, I recommend you listen to the soundtrack. It's good. Actually, last night... Was it last night? I think it was last night. I was playing this game on my main character. And... Okay, we've got a common shirt, Sure, let's put on our common shirt then. Do a little bit of swappy swap. Why not? Yeah, I was playing last night. I found on YouTube a cool little, like, hour-long mix of, it was like a mix, it was a mashup of Star Wars music and Pirates of the Caribbean music, and it was awesome to listen to. Oh, it was so good. I had a lot of fun with that. Now, unfortunately, I would never in a million years be able to play that on stream. Never in a million years. Yeah. I hope I can find that again. If I do, I'll post it. I'll probably post it. There's a music channel in the Discord server, right? There should be. I don't see a reason why there wouldn't be. So, yeah, I'll probably post it in there. And, yeah, you can find it. And, yeah, just, it is so good. I loved listening to that. Speaking of things I love, this game. I don't know what it is. This game just feels good to play. Feels so good. Alright, have fun. Thank you so much for hanging out, Pink Panic Uwu. It was so lovely having you. And yeah, I also... Yeah. Good luck with your code jump. But yeah, back to this game. Just like... I've been thinking this to myself, and like... I think what sells me on games the most is their gameplay loop. I don't really, like, I don't often care too much about story. Like, stories are nice to have, sure, and I love having good stories in my games versus bad ones. But, like, I would say unless I'm playing an RPG, story is not the #1 thing that draws me to a game. It'd probably be, like, lower down the list. The reason I bring that up is I hear some people will, like, complain about Bethesda games or whatever having, like, terrible writing and bad stories, and I'm like, yeah, but that's not what it is about the game that I like. Also, it's not bad writing either, but that's not a strong argument that I'm gonna try to hold up, because, like, it's just not the biggest thing for me when it comes to games. But no, the biggest thing, I think, is feel. Like, does the game feel good to play? And that is just incredibly subjective. Like, there's no objective, like, other people are gonna find different things to feel differently, and also not all games are gonna feel the same way. Like, a car racing game needs to have a very different feel from an open world RPG, and an open world RPG needs to have a different feel from an MMO, and like stuff like that. I think as far as MMOs go, TLOPO, or Pirates Online in general, has the best feel that I think I've ever experienced. Like, ESO was good. It just had too much, like, too much MMO stuff going for it. Which isn't good. That's not a good thing. If it has too much. You need the right balance. Whereas this one has, like, as far as feel goes, you don't have to spend too much time thinking. This is not a bad thing. It's just kind of like a game that you can just kind of sit back, lose hours to playing, and just like, you don't realize hours have passed until it's already like time for bed or time for dinner or whatever. And that's a good thing, in my opinion, for a game to be that way, where you can just lose yourself in it for hours and hours. So feel is a big part of whether a game is good or not, in the way that I look at games. It's not so much the story, it's mostly the feel. And a lot of the time I'm going to want, like, an open world I can explore. Like, open world... So when I say open world, I don't mean like the textbook definition of open world, which is like you can basically go anywhere at any time if you want. For me, when I say open world, I just mean like a world that's not 100% linear, I guess, is what I could say. Like, oh, we got a skull chest. Oh, we got a skull chest. Hell yeah. I don't know the best way to describe, but basically, yeah, like, here, we'll sell that. We'll sell that hat. I like the light blue one better. Yeah, I don't know the best way to describe exactly what I'm thinking, but a 3D world. That's what I'm thinking. Not necessarily, it doesn't have to be open world, I just like 3D worlds in my games. Ones that I can explore. Then... But yeah, that's all just like nice to have stuff. But I think the biggest thing that draws me into a game is gameplay loop. That's something that I'm gonna have to... Cause like, here's the thing, since I fully intend to probably at some point do like a whole Skyrim is better than you think type of video essay / stream / whatever, I'm gonna need to be able to articulate these thoughts a little bit better. But basically, gameplay loop, by that I kind of mean like you go out and do a thing, and then you come back, and then you like, I don't know, it's a loop. is what it's a loop. Just picture a loop in your head. It's like, so, for example, ooh, we got the tempered cutlass now. I see. Yeah. Nice. Very nice. Don't mind me just kind of organizing my inventory now that I realized I now have level 7 swords. Meaning all the level 7 swords in my inventory I can now use, which means we can retire like the level 6s and level 6 and yeah, retire those. So yeah, the tempered cutlass just has a higher chance to deal critical damage and a sweep boost. But yeah, so in TLOPO, the gameplay loop is very often that you have to kill a certain number of a certain type of enemy, and the game is going to kind of throw different types of enemies at you. So it'll say like you have to go to take on some Navy enemies, and then you'll be fighting against a Navy a lot, and then it's gonna suddenly switch and say, okay, now we need you to kill a bunch of skeletons, and then you have to kill the skeletons. Then it's gonna be like, well, now we need scorpions, so you're gonna have to kill a bunch of scorpions. And the loop goes on, like it changes the type of enemy, and not only does it have the diversity of the enemy type, it also has a diversity of like how you have to combat the enemy. Because it's not always going to be like enemies on the ground like this. It's going to switch it up and be like, hey, now we're going to send you off to sea for a bit, and you're going to have to take on enemies that are on the ocean. And so you're going to have to like go and do stuff like that. And basically, yeah, that's just like, that's part of the loop, is the game giving you these little missions to go and do these, like, things like kill a certain number of enemies. And then in the process of killing these enemies, you're going to get stuff. Good stuff. You're going to get gold, which is mostly, I would argue gold is mostly useful for buying bigger and bigger ships. So like, you're going to want the warships, you're going to want the war sloop, and you're going to want the war galleon, and the war frigate, and all that stuff. You're going to want all of it. And that's going to cost you a lot of money, which means you're going to want money. So, killing these enemies that the game sends you out to kill is going to get you money eventually. Like, they eventually drop money. It also gets you weapons. It also gets you clothes. That's kind of like it's not a required thing, really. What the hell? What is this message? The question marks. What? I don't know what that is. But yeah, the gameplay loop thing is like, yeah, the clothes are just kind of nice to have. They're not there for every player to enjoy. Like, not all players enjoy customizing their characters with outfits. But, you know, they're nice to have. But the weapons are, like, probably the biggest part of the gameplay loop to me, is, like, or one of them, I should say. Upgrades. Just anything where you go out and kill a bunch of things because the game tells you to kill a bunch of things, and then those things that you just killed drop loot in the forms of upgrades. gives you better stuff for doing what the game told you to do. And now the next time you go out to do something that the game tells you to do, you're gonna have even better stuff to kill those things with, and better, and it's gonna keep ramping up. I like those types of upgrades. That's the same sort of deal as in Skyrim, where you like go on a quest to clear out a location, and then in that location you'll find various loot that's kind of leveled to your character, and that loot's going to potentially have upgrades in it, or depending on how you build your character, you could even make your own upgrades, but that's kind of a different story, and it's still going to require some amount of like early game versus late game versus whatever game. So like you're not going to be able to rush too early. Alright, how are we going to do this? Probably not easily. I'm going to try to run past. Okay, good. You did not aggro, which means we can now take on this rancid fly trap with our dagger. But yeah, basically, the gameplay loop for this game and Skyrim just kind of have that similar feel of you go out, kill stuff, get upgrades, and then you'll be able to kill more stuff more efficiently in the future, and so on and so forth, until you're basically an endgame god. And that's why I like. That just feels good to me in games, is to do that. But then there's the third thing that you get for killing all these things. And this is not a percent chance of happening, this is a guarantee. You can get XP. Everything you kill will give you XP, which goes to you leveling up. And level ups are freaking amazing because you can put skill points in them. Here's the thing. Some games are very passive when it comes to level ups. I think like Pokemon and Fire Emblem are both good examples of this, where like the game just kind of gives you passive benefits to leveling up. You know, maybe you'll eventually unlock new stuff when you level up, sure, but like most levels, you're not going to play an active role in anything happening. It's just like your stats passively go up with each level. And that's fine. I don't mind it. And like I very much enjoy Fire Emblem, even if it has that passive leveling system. It's still fun every time a character levels up, and it's still like, you know, with those level ups, I'm having a good time, you know? But with here's the thing, with like games like Skyrim and Fallout and TLOPO, my level ups are going to get me things that I can play an active role in what that level up does for me. So in Fire Emblem, if I have, say, like a white mage character who's focused on healing, then their whatever magic related stat is like probably more likely to level up than others. You know, kind of like it's weighted in a certain way, but it's not a guarantee, so on and so forth. Whereas with this game, like, you still get your passive bonuses, like each level up gets you more health and more voodoo, but you also play an active role, and okay, let's see, if I level up, would I like some more of these passive skills, like Finesse and Blade Instinct, to, like, go up? Or would I rather, you know, do I use a lot of cuts and swipes, so I should put a lot of skill points into that? Or do I mostly use my activated abilities, like Asp and Adder and Throw Dirt? Like, are those the things that I want to focus on? So, like, you get to play a lot more of an active role in how your character turns out because of that. And I think that's kind of how I prefer it. Not everyone likes that, and that's valid, but that's just what I like in my games. And I have been playing a lot of Destiny 2. One of my partners has really got me into that, and I've been enjoying it a lot. It's a very fun game. However, Destiny 2 does have one issue with it. Well, it's got several issues with it, but like, one of the biggest issues I have with Destiny 2, at least in the gameplay loop discussion, is that it's lacking. Destiny 2's gameplay loop is exclusively about equipment upgrades. There's nothing else in Destiny 2, unless I'm like completely missing something, but I'm pretty sure the only thing Destiny 2 has is equipment upgrades. There's like no skill points. Like, there's kind of a sort of tiny kind of way. Okay, fishing boat. How do I launch a fishing boat? I want a fishing boat. I like, cool stuff could be done with fishing boats. How do I launch one of those? Maybe I have to talk to the fisherman. That could be a thing. But yeah, you know, it's like, that kind of gameplay loop was basically exclusively like, it's all focused on upgrades, which isn't inherently bad. It does have a good feel to it when you upgrade yourself in Destiny 2, you know, like, but like, the thing is, with level ups, as far as, like, first of all, levels aren't even really a thing in Destiny 2. There's just power level, which is kind of just a summary of all your equipment mashed together. And then there's season level, which is based on like the seasons of the game, which I guess kinda sorta makes sense, but it's not what I prefer. I would prefer something kind of more along the lines of TLOPO. Like, here's the thing. I think, so like, I see kind of the issue with an online game that's very much focused on like PvP stuff. I see why it wants to not have levels. Because another player who's way a higher level than a starting character get matched up against each other, then the higher level character is just gonna wipe the floor with them. So to kind of balance things out, you know, first of all, they've got the whole First of all, they've got the fact that each new expansion comes with kind of a stat boost to everyone. So even new players that are brand new to the game are going to start at a marginally reasonable level compared to longtime players of the game. And so they're all gonna kind of be on the same playing field. Sure, the long time, like, in games that require player skill, there's, well, just in games in general, I don't think there's ever going to be a game where unless the game is entirely based on luck. Unless the game is 100% based on luck, you're going to have a game in which one player that's been playing longer than the other player is going to have an edge on the new player. So you can't eliminate that as a factor overall entirely, but game devs still try to, you know, and I very much respect that. Alright, we can now teleport to Tortuga. Nice, nice, nice. Sure, let's hope someone's trying to take on Patricio now. Maybe you can take on Patricio. But yeah, in online games, you're never going to remove that factor. However, if your game especially has a PvP at all, frankly, if your game has any kind of PvP, you're gonna want to try to balance it, because basically either have it be where you physically cannot get matched up against players that are high level than you, or like within a level range that's higher than you. So like a level 10 can get matched up against level 15, but not a level 16, that kind of deal. If you're not gonna lock that off, then what you have to do is like yeah, if you decide not to lock that off, then what you can do instead is basically try to somehow minimize the gap in character ability. So while you cannot eliminate player skill, character skill is something that you can have be as variable as you want. So if you're doing a lot of PvP stuff and having, you know, characters that have been playing a long time versus characters that have been playing a very short time, then, you know, that's just something you can have control over, you know? It's cool stuff. The main point I'm trying to get to here is basically like Destiny 2 kind of, it tries to do that by like, I think that's like the main reason why levels don't exist in that game. It's because long-term players will have an extreme edge compared to anyone else that's new to the game, because they would have like all these skill points and have their character be like the best of the best. And then a new player has 0 skill points and has a very base level character, and they're gonna struggle in pretty much any fight against one of these, like, yeah, against one of those types of characters. So I can kind of see that's probably why things are the way they are. But also hear me out. ESO, The Elder Scrolls Online, also has a kind of similar system when it comes to like so like in ESO longtime players that have all the skill points in the world are objectively going to have just like a better character than a fresh player. That said, fresh players cannot yeah, that's a good alarm, Alpha. I miss my dogs. Yeah, like brand new players cannot participate in PvP in ESO. You have to be at least level 10, which is like you're still gonna have that kind of skill gap issue of a level, like, you're going to have players that are like level 50, because I think 50 is the level cap, and then after that there's champion levels. But yeah, you're going to have those like level 50s fighting up against level 10s. But like, I guess it's not as bad as if you had level 50s fighting against level 1s. I guess that's the argument. But I think the main thing is, like, it's fairly well balanced, is the thing. Like, maybe it is allergies, I have no idea. But yeah, it's like fairly well balanced in my opinion, because I think like locking it off to the level 10s and higher means you're at least going to have some plethora of skills and abilities you have access to. And thanks to that plethora of skills and abilities, you'll be able to basically, like, well, there's like, the thing is, like, there's no Alright, gotta kill some sea vipers because the captains of these sea vipers are like the last few people that know this guy's identity. You know, that's gotta be like a trans allegory, right? Like, this character has a name, and his entire quest line is revolved around removing any traces of his dead name from existence. Like, that's gotta be a trans allegory, right? I gotta remember to put that in Discord. But yeah, so... yeah, like... what I was saying with, like, the ESO PvP and how that works, it's like, by the time you're level 10, you'll have had a selected plethora of, like, different skills that you can get for your character based on whatever build you're going for, and I think they're fairly well balanced. Like, the later skills aren't too much better than the earlier skills. They all have their uses, of course, but, like, the thing is, with the earlier skills, at least, you're going to have, like... it's not going to be as big of a struggle against higher level players. Main point I'm getting to here is I think they did a decent job of balancing it, and, like, it's kind of where, like, they're not going to disincentivize players from leveling up as much as possible, because of course they want players to try to level up as much as possible. But it's also going to not disincentivize new players from engaging in PvP. So it's like, the old players still get the incentive of, like, well, yeah, you've been playing a long time, so of course you're gonna be better. And so of course you're gonna have, like, a whole bunch of different skills, like with the champion system. But they're not gonna give you too much of an edge. They're gonna give you a little bit of an edge, but they're not gonna give you too much of an edge, because we want new players to also at least stand a chance to fight you. Like, they're probably gonna need help. They're not gonna take you 1v1 level 10 versus level 50. But just in general, they'll at least have that chance. It's kind of what I'm getting at, is, like, I think the ESO PvP system is one of the most complex and interesting PvP systems I've ever engaged with in, like, an MMO. And it might be the best, even. I think it's even the best that I've ever seen. It was definitely a very fun one. And yeah, as I said, like, I think they did a pretty decent job of making it so, like, there's not, like... they did a pretty decent job of balancing it for the new players and the old players. Anyway, why was I going on that tangent about PvP? Oh, I was talking about, like, gameplay loops, right? Yeah, I was talking about gameplay loops and how, like, XP serves a function in those types of loops and stuff like that. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Yep, that's exactly what I was aiming at for cannons. Thank you. We don't need to take on the Centurion, but I want bigger prey than just these little tiny sea vipers. Because these little sea vipers, I don't know, they just don't feel worth it. I don't get a whole lot of XP from sinking them. I get a surprisingly decent, like, haul. Like, I get surprisingly good loot from sinking them, but, like, I think that's just luck-based. I'm just getting lucky. But yeah, the fact that I'm launching out onto sea at all, and just like, ouch, yep, we're taking some damage. I kind of want something for my efforts, so I might as well sink like a few other ships while I'm out here, right? Okay, fine. I'll take on this Vanguard too. I was just gonna fire off a whole volley and then just run along. But, okay, yeah, those are... Oh, those are player ship. Oh, they're taking on hunters. Nice. Yeah, I was just gonna fire a volley and run along, but this Vanguard is just melting to my cannons. So, I kinda think I just want to sink it, get the XP and the loot. Oh, that's some good stuff. Cargo crates and loot pouches on their own aren't like the best, but considering for sinking one ship, I got 3, like 2 cargo crates and 1 loot pouch. That's a good deal. Still would have preferred a royal chest, but eh. Also, speaking of, gotta keep an eye on my money, because right now we're sailing level 10. Once we reach sailing level 15, we're gonna have access to the warships. First warship we're gonna buy is probably gonna be a war sloop, just because I'm fairly certain that's gonna be the only one we can afford anyway. But then on top of that, a war sloop is just, I know I'm going to always want a war sloop at every point in the game. Because a sloop, you're always going to want. Because it's always, you know, it's the fastest ship in the game. And if you're launching a sloop, you're rarely taking it into combat, you're taking it to a destination, like Isla Perdida, or Raven's Cove, or Driftwood Island, like, just as examples. Places you can't fast travel to. So that's kind of like the big, like, point of that, you know? It's like, what was I going with that statement? What was I trying to say? Brain? What was I even saying at all? My entire train of thought derailed. I was just blabbering and stuff and yada yada. Oh right, sloops and war... Yeah, sloops, you're always gonna want a sloop. And the war sloop is just the best sloop in the game. You could probably get by on a light sloop though, I guess. Like, there's no reason... There's no reason you couldn't just get by on a light sloop if you really were adverse to, like, like, if you really wanted to, you could just stick with light sleep, but I wouldn't. Mostly just because it... I don't know, just like... War sloops are pog. And if you sail too close to, like, a Revenant, for example, you'd still not die. So, yeah, that's the thing. Alrighty. And good old Carver. Alright, so we've got to remove some tattoos. So we gotta visit Doc Grog to learn how to remove a tattoo. Yeah, I'm totally making this argument that this questline is just a trans allegory. Oh dear. It'll cost. Alright, so we gotta kill some undead. Yeah, so, like, here's the thing. Oh yeah, here's something I wanted to mention, like, during today's TLOPO stream. Disney has some problematic names for things in this game. Some very problematic names for things. And it's probably just Disney being Disney. You know. But like, here's the thing. The magic bar is called Voodoo. You have not one but two weapon types that are based on Voodoo. You have your Voodoo doll and you have the Voodoo staff late in the game. Voodoo, Voodoo, Voodoo. And then you've got several characters in the game called gypsies. You've got your, like, people that on every single island that, you know, kind of run the potions making stand. They're called gypsies. You sell them stuff. And then there will be enemies too in the game. Later on, like, we've seen the undead witch doctors, wait until you see the undead gypsies. And then, of course, like, you know, we've got our... I'm pretty sure witch doctor is also being misused here. Just like all over the place, problematic terminology is happening. For the sake of just like, it's already called that in the game, like that's just what it's called. It's just called Voodoo, it's not magic, it's Voodoo. And the enemies are specifically called gypsies, and like the vendors are specifically gypsies as well. Like... So like here, I want to minimize my usage of these problematic terms. But I also like... I also can't see myself completely avoiding saying them. And it's... I need to emphasize this. If I do say one of those words, it will always be in the context of this game. Like, I will not say any of those problematic terms outside of this game. However, if people do have a problem with me saying them even inside the game, then I will stop using them. I will come up with something else. I will, like, call the gypsies mages, because that's kind of what Disney was going with. Like, I know it's not the exact same thing, but it's at least generic and not problematic. So yeah, I just want to mention that a little bit. Like, I'm very well aware that I've been using these terms in the game, and they're not the best terms to use. I want to make sure I'm being as PC as possible here. But yeah, you know, just in the meantime, unless someone tells me to not use those terms at all, I will just use them solely in the context of the game. But yeah, just a little thing that's kind of been bothering me pretty much since the first time I streamed this game, and I just felt like I had to bring it up. Like, I need to address this if I'm gonna keep playing this game. For the sake of my own conscience, I have to make a point of, like, first of all, this game did not age well because of the existence of these terms. But also, like, here's the thing, for transparency, I haven't always realized that these are problematic terms. This is more of, like, a recent realization to me in, like, being more educated in world issues and, like, stuff like that. I wasn't aware that, like, these terms had any specific connotations, so yeah. Anyway, I'm not gonna spend, like, the entirety of my stream, like, talking about that. I just kind of wanted to make my point. And yeah, just throw that out there. If I'm being seen using a term like that, it's because it's in the game. And if people don't want me to use the term, just speak up and we'll stop. But yeah, I'm just kind of vibing in the mindless gameplay loop set of just, like, kill a bunch of enemies. Unfortunately, right now we've kind of swapped back to the main quest line, which means we're gonna be severely overleveled. Which means we're not gonna be getting a whole lot of XP from this. Because we're taking on, like, very low level enemies that were basically 10 levels higher than. So, like, we're not getting as much as we could be out of it. On to Doc Grog. Doc Grog? Doc Grog. Doc Grog. Alrighty, there we go. Gotta keep to the code, as we do. Alrighty. And now we got Carver. Don't mind me just checking Discord again. There's that delivered. Gotta go to the Thieves' Den. Alright, so we gotta recover this arrest warrant, but then, finally, this last piece of documentation about this person named Pigley, whoever Pigley is. I don't know Pigley, I know Carver. So we gotta kill Carver's dead name off once and for all. And he will finally be free of his dead name. We stand. We stand, Carver. There is no Pigley. I do not see it. I do not see it. No, I love that meme, by the way. Like, there's a meme that I saw a while ago. I don't even know if I have it saved on my phone. I hope I do. It was a great meme. But yeah, it was a meme I have saved on my phone. Well, no. I literally just said I'm not sure if it's saved on my phone or not. There's a meme that I saw a while ago that was like, "Hello, Kirkladden. Ahoy indeed." But yeah, it was a meme of like, you know, when... So this can be applied even in a cis context, but the meme was applied in a trans context of like, if a person commissions an artist, and you of course have to pay the artist via PayPal, and unless you have a business account set up, you and or the artist are both going to be revealing your legal names to each other. And so the meme was basically like the people handing off money, and it's like the "I do not see it, I do not see it," as like, here, take the money, I'm going to not pay any attention to your name, I'm just gonna immediately forget it, as a courtesy to you. And yeah, it was just a good meme. I resonated a lot with it. And, you know, like I said, it doesn't have to be applied in a trans context, because I've seen that very same exact meme applied in a, in just like a VTuber context. You know, like, VTubers don't want to reveal their real names online, which is perfectly fine. And some do, which is also perfectly valid. But yeah, you know, like, if you don't want to reveal your full name online, then you just be like, you know, I gotta commission art, but the artist is gonna be just a nice person and ignore my name when I commission art from them. And I'm gonna do the same for them because that's just the courteous thing to do. You just gotta be like, I do not see it. I do not see. I do not see your name. Your name do not be. Alright, we'll just kill this thug because we can. We don't have to. Game's not telling us to. But technically speaking, this thug right here is a witness. A witness to us searching through the desk for the arrest warrant, so we'll have to kill him to remove him from the equation. Yeah. This is The Legend of Pirates Online, shortened to TLOPO, TLOPO. It's based off Pirates of the Caribbean, which is, of course, a Disney IP. The original game of this was Pirates of the Caribbean Online, which was run by Disney, and then in like the mid 2010s, I want to say, Disney closed the servers once and for all for this game. They're like, okay, we've had a fun run, but it's time to say goodbye, and so they closed the game. And then fans immediately were like, hey, we want that game. It was a good game. It was a very lovely game. Please, we want those servers back. And so fans immediately got to work on kind of getting the game playable again. I think in the case of TLOPO, they had to kind of build it entirely from the ground up, which props to them for doing so. And they did it, and it's now playable. And unlike the Disney version, it's 100% free. So, you know, if you're interested, by all means, play it. But, yeah, no, Pirates Online was, like, one of my childhood games, and I'm glad to see it back. This game gives me so much nostalgia. And, like, this was just, like, my very first game of, like, I think this was my first ever MMO in general. And it was definitely the first game that I regularly played on PC, because all other games I played around the time were like on some sort of console, except for this one. This one was only on PC, so I had to play it on PC. Except we didn't even have a PC, it was my dad's Mac. Like, his MacBook that he had from work. Oh yeah, I know a lot of people were into RuneScape. Like, a lot of my past friends and current friends were like RuneScape people. But yeah, no, this was mine. Pirates Online was my favorite MMO, or like my first MMO, and like also favorite, I guess. It just hits all the right notes for me. And it just has kind of like a lovely little mindless loop when you play it. But anyway, as I was talking, we finished... I believe we finally finished the first recruitment for Captain Jack Sparrow. I think. I'm fairly certain. And now we're on to part 2 with Gordon Greer. We gotta talk to Gordon and get him released from prison. Alright, so he's not going anywhere, he's just in the stocks, so we're gonna talk to Sergeant Bingham. Greer's busy, but there's a few golden ways you can talk to him, savvy? Alright, we gotta bribe you. One of the very few instances in which you have to bribe someone. Oh, and bring me some rum, and lots of it. Some for drinking, and some for trade. Now. Alright, yeah, this guy is gonna pull our teeth to get us to talk to Gordon Greer. Now Greer, his entire quest line, so like, Carver's entire quest line was basically erasing his previous name from existence and like letting him move on and start a brand new life under a different name that doesn't have a lot of notoriety attached to it. Greer's entire quest line is based on like, he really fucked up and screwed a lot of people over, which is why he's locked up in the first place, and it's all about kind of righting all those wrongs. Like, if you're Greer, like, yeah, Greer screwed a lot of people over, and your job in trying to recruit him is to help all the people that he screwed over. I think it was he stole from them. I think that's what it was. Like, he was basically being a pirate, is what he was. And so your entire quest line is gonna basically be, you know, we gotta get you all the stuff back that Greer stole from you. And then he'll be able to be on the crew of the Black Pearl. Speaking of black and ship names, we've got the Black Rose, a war brig that's just kind of docked right there. Well, it's not docked, but... what's the term? There's gotta be a term. It's like at a standstill is basically what it is. It's not doing anything, it's just sitting there. There's gotta be a nautical term for that, where a ship is not moving at all and it's just got its sails furled.
Captain, they know we need pirates. Plundering will make them real mad.
So this game is not for profit. It's just a revival of a game that already exists, that like, it's a revival of a game that had already existed before Disney killed it off. So like, but yeah, it's a not-for-profit game. Also, that Vanguard is kind of crippled, so I'm gonna go out of my way to just sink it and get money from it. But yeah, like, I don't know the legality of any of it. All I know is that, like, the dev team is not allowed to, like, sell this game. It's literally just a passion project. It's just, we love this game, and so we're gonna bring it back. That's all it is. Yeah, well, like, I don't know about that. I think Nintendo is probably a little bit more protective than Disney is, honestly. But that might just be me. But that's what it seems like to me, at least. But yeah, like, Disney is super overprotective of all their IPs. I don't know. That's the only answer I can give you, is I don't know. I'm sure the dev team did their research and, like, maybe even reached out to Disney, I don't know, about whether or not they could use these, like, whether or not they were allowed to do this. I'm just gonna give them the benefit of the doubt and assume that they did. I'm fairly positive that they did. Like, that was one of the things that I was following along with the project updates when this was still in like early development. Was like at one point they reached out and contacted Disney and was like, hey, so are we allowed to do this? And then Disney was like, yes, but you're not allowed to make money off of it. Something like that. So... But yeah, I can't give you a straight answer because I simply don't know. Yeah, me too. I'm glad this game's back, because I missed it. I remember this game had like some kind of major update before the servers eventually closed down, but the major update was like short. It was like kind of after I stopped playing. And the reason I had stopped playing was because, you know, I think I'd moved on to like different games. I was like more into like, I think that was around the time when I was into the Assassin's Creeds and Skyrim, and like those were the games that I would spend most of my time playing, whereas like Assassin's Creed and Skyrim. And so like I didn't have as much time for this game anymore, so I just kind of stopped playing for a bit. And then the new update dropped, and then I eventually finally got around to playing with the new update, but that was like not much time before the servers closed down, and so I didn't really get to enjoy the new update at all. But the new update came with like various ship upgrades that you could do and stuff like that, and like I just never got to do that. I never got to upgrade my ship because it was like expensive and requires a lot of materials that I couldn't easily acquire. So here's hoping that I get to experience that this time around. Not to mention that this game actually has like other updates with it too. Like it has original content that was not in the base game originally. Because Bilgewater just got released. Bilgewater, the island... Oh, there's the old shadow. War Stoop. Yeah, Bilgewater got released. Which is like a new island with an entirely brand new quest line. That did not exist in the base game. Oh, Black Rose is finally off for sale. I don't need to take on this Corvette, I just am. Because it's aggroed onto me. Awesome, now take on this Panther. Oh gosh, is it already 10? I'm probably only at... I don't know, like... I want to keep playing, but I also need to rest my voice. So, I don't know, I'll probably go for like... maybe 30 more minutes. It's, you know, 30 minutes is still just like my typical 3-hour stream. Also, I will note, like, initially, like, my Wednesday evening streams were just always 2 hours. Like, around the 2 hour mark, maybe 2.5, but generally 2 hours. More recently, they've been moving up to, like, more normal, like, 3-hour streams. And it might be because the game that I'm playing that makes me enjoy it more. But it also might be that, like, so, like, the reason I was mostly keeping them short is because, you know, first of all, it's a weeknight, so, like, need to make sure I get to bed or in time to, like, go to work the next day. But also, like, since they're kind of evening streams, don't usually get pull in the biggest audience, and also, like, they're kind of like low energy time for me. I didn't want to go on too long for these, but, like, I don't know, I've slowly kind of been building up my endurance again, and doing, you know, doing really, having fun with these streams. So, like, I have a decent amount of energy. Alright, so Gordon, now we can talk to you. It would be my pleasure to join up with Sparrow again, but I'm stuck here. Bingham's not the only real problem. You'll have to convince Lieutenant Blackley. Blackley's smitten with me sister, and she's convinced him to keep me locked up till I've changed my pirate ways. See, I stole from his sister, and she's angry. Help me patch things up with her, eh? I don't know what the fuck accent I just put on for him, but there we go. Yeah, so the kicker is, the reason he's locked up is because he specifically screwed over a Navy lieutenant's, well, what was it, sister? Yeah, I think it was sister. Yeah, he specifically screwed over a Navy lieutenant's sister by stealing a bunch of shit from her. And so that Navy lieutenant was like, okay, cool, I want this bloke, Gordon Greer, I want him locked up in the stocks, just permanently in Fort Charles. And so now, this is what I do. I have to go and basically do a bunch of quests to return all the stuff you stole, or find replacements. Release Greer? That vermin stole from his own sister. Oh, his sister. It's for his own good, you see. I told June I'd keep an eye on him, but if he could prove he's changed, I'd have to let him go, but you'd have to take it up with her. My playlist stopped? Yeah, the playlist stopped. Okay, so his Greer's sister Blackley's fiance? Is that it? That might be it. But yeah, that's what we gotta do. We gotta do a whole bunch of quests for her. But it'll be worth it. Mostly because of the XP. Gordon changed? That's doubtful. But I might change my mind if he returned everything he stole. Some of these aren't worth much, but they do have sentimental value. Like my ring. It was a gift from Gordon. To replace it, you'll need to see a jeweler named Smitty. Alright, now gotta go to Smitty, and I feel like we're gonna do a lot of stuff for Smitty. I recall that being the case. Or maybe it's the fact that Smitty also has various other miscellaneous quests that I accepted with my main character. That might be it. Yeah. So into Smitty's jewelry shop we go. Oh yeah, no, we got that quest line. Okay, first talk to you. Ah, the Greer Diamond. That's what I like to call it. Ha! Utterly worthless. Why bother with it? If I could make you one. But I usually don't work in glass and tin. Get these items and I'll fashion you one. Yep, so he is a real cheapskate. But then, we got Sarah, the jeweler. Smitty's troubles. I'm glad you came. My partner, Smitty, has fallen ill, and there is not much I can do. Tending to this shop's needs has taken all of my time. If you can help Smitty recover, I would be willing to part with a fine piece of jewelry. Go speak with Smitty. He can give you more information. Alright, so something's going on with Smitty. And so we can get... What is this? Seems like I've been sick for weeks now. Too much time out at sea, I suppose. I've been to several doctors and nothing seemed to help. Lucinda the Gypsy is my last hope. Bring her this blood sample of mine. Alright, so Lucinda is gonna be our... Yeah, so at this point we're gonna swap over to the side quest because... yes. Quest, Smitty's troubles. Because you just always do the side quest before the main quest, right? They'll ensure that you get more equipment and better, like, more leveled up and stuff before you attempt your other stuff. You know, the main quest. There's been one wicked sickness going around this island. Pirates have been returning from sea with the same symptoms. Unfortunately, I do not have the necessary supplies here to help. Go speak with Edward Shackleby. He'll know where to get what you need. Alright, so go talk to Ed. Good old Ed Shacks. Ed Shacks. Where are you at, buddy? Alright, here we go. Oops. Sorry, just catching up on some sleep. These supplies will be hard to come by. EITC shipments have been moving slowly since the illness broke out. Normally, I would retrieve these items for you at a cost, of course. But I'm not gonna risk catching what's been going around. At least make it worth my time, and I'll tell you where to find these items. Now we gotta bribe him with what? 100 gold? Alright, fine. Another rare instance of needing to bribe. All these medical supplies you need can be found on EITC ships. Supplies are not coming here though. Instead, most are being sent to the rich. A bit unfair for the poor folks around Port Royal, but that is why the pirates like you yourself. Alright, we gotta go sink some EITC Corvettes, is that it? Oh no, there's more. Corvettes, Sea Vipers, and Barracudas. Is that something I could do within 15 minutes? Probably. Not that bad. Yeah. In fact, I wonder. I could try to join a war brig. The problem is I don't think a war brig is going to take on the kind of prey that we want. We want a very specific kind of prey. And 18 or so minutes that I want to accomplish it within. So I'm probably not going to join a war brig. The main reason I was looking at the public ships just now is because I've been leveling up my cannon, like, not at all. My cannon skill is not moving anywhere because I don't use it, because I'm always just sailing my own ships. I'm never as part of a crew of anyone else's. So I was hoping I could maybe level up my cannon a bit, but no, this is... I'm just gonna have to do it this way. Because I don't think a war brig is gonna be specifically taking on these lower level ships. A war brig is gonna be taking on, like, revenants, and probably dreadnoughts, and probably colossi, and like those big things, the big scary things. Alright, are you in front of or behind? I think you're in front of Isla de la Brescia. We're not gonna sail too close to that revenant, so I don't think we have to worry about it aggroing on us. Alright, Corvette, get ready to go into the depths.
They know we need pirates. Plundering will make them real mad.
Gonna get us some fine loot. I think I mentioned this the last stream, but basically, yeah, I've noticed that with sailing is probably the most efficient way to get money. Or, like, specifically sinking other ships is probably the most efficient way to get money in this game. So, you know, like, sure, you'll maybe end up being a little bit over-leveled in sailing compared to all the other skills, but you're gonna get to the point where you'll be able to afford, like, the bigger, better ships a lot faster by sailing. And I think part of it is there's always a guarantee that a ship is gonna drop some sort of loot. Like, I don't think a single instance in which a ship will not drop loot when you sink it. Compare that to on-the-ground enemies, which can just not drop loot if they don't feel like it, and you could have a really bad luck streak and not have any loot drops at all. And on top of that, every ship that you sink will have a % chance of dropping a royal chest, which is the best kind of loot you could possibly get from sailing a ship, at least money-wise. Like, sure, a skull chest is a great drop as well, and there's usually gonna be good money in a skull chest as well. But mostly focusing on like the loot you can get out of the royal chests. Those are like pretty much guaranteed to have lots of good money in them. And that is why sailing is going to be very much worth it, because like even a light sloop is gonna have the possibility of dropping a royal chest, and so even if you just take on a bunch of light sloops, you'll probably eventually get one and make lots of money doing so.
Plunder those ships.
You see, right there, that was a light frigate, and we get a royal chest from it. How's our playlist looking? Okay, it's still playing. Now that doesn't mean it's not still gonna be an incredible grind, because it is still an incredible grind to try and acquire enough money to buy like a warship. Because those things are expensive as fuck. A war sloop itself costs so much money. And that's the cheapest one. Double the cost of a war sloop, and you got yourself a war galleon. But even that's not as, like, big and mighty as, like, a war frigate or a war brig. A war brig is, I believe, twice the cost of a war galleon.
We sunk her, Captain.
And keep in mind, my main character, who's, I believe, level, like, 25, maybe? She's in her mid-20s, but my main character in her mid-20s is, like...
Take what you can, give nothing back.
I only just acquired a war galleon, and that cost me all of my money. So yeah, it's gonna be a while. Grinding up that much money is not an easy task. In fact, I'm pretty sure back in the day, when I was trying to raise money, trying to raise the funds for me to afford one of those really big expensive ships, it was either like a war frigate, a war brig, something like that. I would spend just hours doing the ship repair minigame you can do at the docks for money. I'm pretty sure that's what I spent a lot of my time doing. Which is good that it's a fun minigame, because look how much time I spent doing it. Alright, yep, that's Phantom's aggroed onto me, so might as well fire. Oh, that's a Revenant. Ooh, I didn't realize that was a Revenant. We'll still be fine taking on a Revenant, but it's a little bit scarier. Nope. And the Greyhound's also firing on me. Great. Yep, we're taking a bit of damage from that Revenant. Look, our port broadside is almost completely destroyed. There we go, we got a loot chest. I do want to sink this Revenant. It's probably going to have good loot on it. Okay, by probably I mean it's not a guarantee, but still. Okay, I kind of want to go out of my way to take on that Iron Wall, but also I want to stay focused on the task at hand because I don't want to have to do this any longer than I have to. Because my voice is getting incredibly tired and I just want to end stream. It's late here. But I must keep doing it. I could just run away from this fight with the Revenant, but it's good stuff. I want the Revenant stuff. Come on. Alright, hurry it up. Just gotta get like one good volley in. Yeah, that was not a good volley. You see how it's missing all those big shots? Why couldn't the ogres have done that earlier? Woohoo! Oh, you got a bunch of friends that play Sea of Thieves? Awesome! I love Sea of Thieves. I don't have it on this laptop, but I used to play it a bunch on my PC back home in the US. I want to play it again. The biggest issue for me right now is that I just don't have the hard drive space on this laptop. This laptop has like very limited, I don't even think it is a hard drive, I'm pretty sure it's just an SSD. So like, all the stuff that I have downloaded on this, I don't think I have room for Sea of Thieves, unfortunately. That said, like I said, I do plan to hopefully eventually play some more sometime soon, so I'll probably need to make space. I'll just need to figure out how to make that space. But yeah, I used to have a couple of friends that we would regularly play Sea of Thieves, like, I'm pretty sure it was like once a week, right? I don't know what we just sunk, but apparently we just sunk something. Pretty sure it was like once a week. And like, yeah, it was like just a regular thing that we did, and it was great. I do miss hanging out with them. We kind of had to stop, partly because, well, like, the main reason was because of my move to Japan kind of screwing all the schedules up, and also me no longer having it on my PC. But also, like, one of those friends just kind of had a very busy life all of a sudden, which is like mood. So like they weren't really able to play it all that much on stream. I think they'd probably be fine for it now, though, right? Like, because they've started streaming again recently. So maybe we could do something at some point. That'd be nice. Have a good old reunion, as we haven't actually played Sea of Thieves together in like several months. At least 5.5 months. At least. I'm glad I went with the ginger and lemon sparkling water because my throat really needs it. Might as well fire on this phantom as it's gonna aggro anyway. Oh, it's already such a cutie. It's almost dead anyway. Cutie's not the right word there. Probably like poor thing. Something like that. I don't know. As for you, kind of same deal. Alright, you're at full health. The Sea Viper is the one that I mostly want to take out. Only because the quest is telling me to. Oh, that's pain. That broke our broadside. Well, now our broadside's broken, and smart me would just switch sides. But I guess I'm deciding to be dumb right now and just still be sailing with our port broadside facing them.
Thunder those ships.
Alright, there we go. I gotta take down this phantom. We don't have to take down the phantom, but this is personal now. You broke my broadside.
We sunk her, Captain.
Good. We sunk her. Now there's a Sea Viper over there. And actually this is pointing me in this direction. Yeah, that's a more accessible Sea Viper, I think. And there's another one right there too. Cool, so we'll take on both these Sea Vipers. And then there'll probably be exactly enough that we need to fill up our entire cargo hold because we're currently at 12 out of 14 capacity. Then we dock, pull into port, and that would probably be where we call the stream. We'll still have to take care of, I think it's bloodhounds that we... is it bloodhounds or greyhounds? I think it's bloodhounds that we still have to take care of. Barracudas. Okay, so the war sloop. Okay. So we still have to take care of some barracudas, but for the most part, that's like the biggest function of the objective taken care of. I love you too, Alpha. Have a good day at school.
I love you 3000.
I love you too. It's gonna take out the sea vipers. They're so hard to hit. Oh my god. Light sloops are the most annoying ship in the game. Not because they're difficult in like the sink view, but because they're so difficult to hit. They're just tiny, tiny little targets. They're like flies. Have you tried shooting a fly? It's not easy. I assume. I have not. I don't really shoot weapons. IRL. It's not a thing I do. I have minimal experience with guns.
Trying to protect their treasure.
Okay.
Sink those ships and claim what's
Let's go to
under those ships.
Cuba then. Let's go ahead and put our loot away. Drop anchor. Eventually a game will load. Eventually. I want my loot. I had a lot of loot on there. There we go. Okay, so yeah. See, one royal chest gets you hundreds of gold. So that right there alone was like a little bit less than half of all our loot combined. Now, let's go and let's see. We don't need a rusty saber. We don't need the rusty bayonet. I'm fairly certain we don't. I got an old musket. Yeah, the rusty bayonet's worse. So we will go ahead and sell those. And that will be where we call the stream. So, thank you all so much for coming out to this stream. It's, as always, very fun to play Pirates Online. And of course, if you ever want to join with me and play along, feel free. We don't even have to do what I'm doing. If you just want to do like a whatever other quest you have in mind, by all means. But in the meantime, yep, that's gonna be it. That's gonna be where we call it for tonight. Let's see. Next stream to look forward to is this Saturday's Pokemon Shield with Ian. So if you're not already following, yeah, Ian, I'll be playing Pokemon Shield with. We are very close to getting that. We're very close to finishing the main storyline, I guess it is. Like, there's still post-game stuff, but like the main plot of the game is you have to, like, you know, get all the gym badges, right, to do the gym challenge. We're almost there. Like, we just have the Dragon Gym this stream. We'll take on the Dragon Gym on Saturday, so look forward to that. Go follow Ian, even though technically they'll be on my channel, still go follow them. They're a great person, lovely, lovely human being who deserves all the love and support. But yeah, so one second. 1 second. As far as mute. There we go. No, mute. There we go. Let's see, what else? If you want to support me, you can follow me in all the places. You know, we've got Discord, we've got Twitter, where most of my updates get posted, and then of course Twitch and YouTube if you want to catch VODs. If you're interested in any of these stream series that I do, but you miss 1 or 2 episodes, you can always catch the VOD. Then if you want to support me in a more monetary fashion, of course we've got tips and subs. Those are both good ways. And finally, when we get to our raid destination, right here in chat is our lovely little raid message. So when we get there, you can copy and paste Haru Hugs. And if you're subbed to me, you can have access to this little Haru Hug emote, along with a bunch of other emotes. So, without further ado, thank you all so much for dropping by, and I hope to see you next time. Bye bye.